were a small child, you sat on the floor with ease and were quite happy there and probably spent quite a bit of time there. As we go through the years, it becomes culturally less acceptable to spend time down on the floor. And I'm here today to tell you every day, get down to the floor, spend some time there and get back up again. It is a simple thing that we can do to promote general health in the body, and it is actually a really important indicator of longevity. So if you can do this, you're going to live longer. It's as simple as that. Now, there's many different factors. We mentioned culture there. That can be an issue for some people. It's really easy for me to sit like this, okay? I've always been able to sit like this since I was a child. And part of the reason is the shape of my pelvis. So we have to respect our anatomy, okay? So my hip joints, my hip sockets here on the side, they actually face more outwards and downwards, which allows me to do that. If you have hip joints that are in a slightly different position to me, you may find that you're sitting like this. And if you try to force that, okay, and you try to push it because you see some yoga teacher or somebody like me who sits like this, what you will actually be doing is you will be compromising and damaging your hip joint, okay, which is not a great plan. So what we need to do is think about, well, what makes this position acceptable and comfortable for you? So sitting on the floor, some people will be happy with their legs extended, some people will be happier with their knees bent in under them, but obviously if we have knee issues, this ain't going to be too comfortable. Here's a load of props, and we can use whatever we need to help us out when we're down here. So in that cross-legged position, if we don't have the flexibility in either the hip joints or maybe it's some of the soft tissue, the muscles, tendons and ligaments, we may find that our pelvis is pulled a little bit backwards like this, okay? So what I'm going to suggest here is if we can raise the pelvis up a little bit, that may assist us. So here's some simple yoga blocks. So you could put a couple of them side by side like this. You could put a couple of them on top of each other. You could put 3 or 4 of them together, whatever you need. So popping your pelvis up on a block or 2 blocks or 4 blocks, whatever you need there. So what we want to think about is that our pelvis, okay, is not dropped back down onto our tailbone. So in this position here, this is my pelvis resting on my tailbone, okay, and this is my pelvis resting on my sit bones, okay. So you want to really make sure that we're up on those sit bones. And what you can see is visually, this allows my torso to form a tall cylinder. So when I'm here, my torso is in a bunched and compressed and rounded position, okay, which is not going to feel too great. If you don't have yoga blocks, you could use a few cushions. Here's a couple of folded blankets, so I could pop them underneath my hips here. Now, thinking about that arrangement of the hip socket, if your hip socket is pointing a little bit more upwards or forwards and the knees don't come down, you may find that that's actually quite uncomfortable having them hanging out there. So you could use, again, some yoga blocks, or you could use maybe a couple of pillows or cushions, whatever's handy, folded blankets, whatever, to support the legs, okay, as much as we need to. So maybe you might need 2 or 3 of them there, okay. So do what you need to do to allow your body to feel relaxed and comfortable in this position, and also particularly to allow your torso to be comfortably tall. So if we feel we're trying to yank ourselves and pull ourselves into the position, and that's not going to be great. We can also think about that kneeling position. So in this position here, it may be the feet, the toes, it may be the ankles, it may be the knees that are difficult for you. So this is a lovely position for the torso, but not if we're compromising somewhere down here. Again, our trusty yoga blocks, so we could use a couple of those to again raise up the pelvis. So that's taken some of the pressure off of the lower body for me, okay. Or if you don't have yoga blocks, you could use your couple of cushions or pillows, or you could use your blankets here. So this is really nice. If the feet and the ankles are a problem here, you may find that rolling up a towel or a blanket, okay, and placing that under the ankle, that can be really nice here to give a little bit of relief as well. Pressure on the knees themselves on a harder surface, put something soft under them. We can be nice to ourselves while we're down here at the floor. So there's lots of different ways that we can sit on the floor. We could sit in this, what we call a sort of a figure four position here. Okay, if you are doing something asymmetric with the body in that way, do try to spend time in both positions. But this is not going to be accessible for everybody, is it? So figure out what is, get down to the floor every damn day and get back up again.